Hello, everybody. It's Congressman Jamie Raskin, and I'm shouting out to all my friends in Maryland's beautiful 8th Congressional District and across Maryland and across the country. Today is Friday, January 10th. But this particular episode of Local Hero, my favorite time of the week, was recorded yesterday on National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. And who better to appreciate in law enforcement than the great Chief Tom Manger, who was chief of the police for a real long time in Montgomery County and is now the chief of the United States Capitol Police as of July of 2021. Chief Manger has served for 45 years in the policing profession, including more than 2 decades as chief of police for three of the biggest police agencies in our region, in the National Capital Region. He was chief in Montgomery County from 2004 to 2019, and he was also chief in Fairfax County from 1998 to 2004. But Chief Manger lives in Olney, Maryland. He is one of us. He belongs to Montgomery County. His leadership is hailed throughout the region and across the country, but we can rightfully claim him as our own, and we are declaring him to be the local hero for this week. Chief Manger graduated from the University of Maryland and began his career in January 1977. As an officer, he has won several national awards, including the 2007 Law Enforcement Award from the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence. He also was he was inducted into the Montgomery County Human Rights Hall of Fame back in 2012. He was elected by his peer chiefs across the country to national leadership positions, including the preeminent position of president of the Major Cities Chief Association, and that was from 2014 to 2018. He and his wife, Jacqueline, have 2 kids. They live in Montgomery County. You're our local hero, Chief Manger. Thank you for everything you're doing for those of us who work on Capitol Hill, for people across America, and for people in Montgomery County.
Thank you very much, Jamie. I appreciate it. Before we got started taping, you and I were talking about when we first met, and we've known each other for a long, long time. And I appreciate everything that you do as well.
Well, I appreciate it, Chief Manger. So, look, but the first question I'm dying to ask you is, what was it like going from being chief of police in Montgomery County, which has its own culture? It's a massive county. It's got more than 1 million people into it, to being chief of police here on Capitol Hill, which is kind of like being the chief of police of a small town. But on the other hand, it's an extremely important small town. But I'm just curious how you've dealt with that personally and professionally and existentially.
Well, the Capitol Police is a unique police department. We have nationwide jurisdiction in terms of protecting members of Congress. So that's a little different than just being the chief of a county police department. But then on the other hand, since I've been here for the last 3.5 years, no one has asked me about the crime rate. Their focus is on other things, here at the Capitol. We protect the members of Congress. We protect the Capitol. We protect the staff and the visitors here on campus, and we protect the legislative process, which of course was very important 4 years ago, when the electoral count 4 years ago was disrupted. Wasn't stopped, but it was disrupted temporarily. So that's why I was so pleased earlier this week when we had the 6th and the count went just as it was supposed to go. And so very different job in terms of the responsibilities and the focus. But it's a job that I grew to love very quickly. It's an inspiring place to work, and I'm sure you feel the same way. I drive down North Capitol Street for the last about mile of my commute, and so I see the Capitol Dome off in the distance as I'm driving to work, and it's just such an inspiring view, and makes me so proud to work here.
Well, and congratulations on a completely secure and uneventful January 6th. And it was indeed a dramatic contrast from what we lived through 4 years ago. I wonder if you'd say a word about morale on the Capitol Police Force. It was unlike anything any of those officers had lived through, certainly as Capitol officers. Some of them said it was even worse than whatever they had seen in combat duty in Afghanistan or in Iraq. But I wonder about that part of your job, which is rebuilding the morale and the sense of security of the officers.
That was one of the first priorities that I had, was to try and do two things. One, restore the confidence of our officers in the department. They really felt like the department let them down, and in many ways it did. And I wanted to also restore the sense of safety for the people that worked here on Capitol Hill. You know, the members and the staff. I think really it was a blow to their sense of safety. I mean, you know, you come to work and you feel pretty secure, but after January 6, 2021, that was impacted. So I have spent the last 4 years trying to make sure that the officers know that we're going to have the resources that we need, the training that we need, the equipment that we need, that we're going to put operational plans in place so that something like occurred 4 years ago would never happen again. And I will say that on this past week, both during during January 6th and during when President Carter was lying in state, I spent a lot of time walking around talking to my cops, and I was asking them. I said, "Hey, were you here 4 years ago? How do you feel today?" And almost to a person, they talked about the fact that, gee, this feels like a completely different police department. We feel like we're ready for anything. And I think you know, that was borne out you know, earlier this week, when we had not one but two people try and create problems here at the Capitol. We had one individual who came through security and had 3 knives and a machete, and he was trying to come through with the people that were going to pay their respects to President Carter. And we were able to stop him right at the screening point at the entry and take him into custody. Not an hour later, we had someone trying to set a vehicle on fire on the campus, and we were able to take that person into custody and render that vehicle safe. But it was, you know, somebody was here perhaps to do harm. Somebody was here to certainly try and disrupt what was going on inside the Capitol with people paying their respects to former President Carter. And I was so proud of my folks that they were ready, they were vigilant, and took care of that both events so quickly that a lot of folks never even knew this was going on. But the important thing is that my cops have the confidence that they've got what they need to do their job,
Mhm.
which was in question 4 years ago.
Yeah. Um, it seems like whether we're talking about members of Congress or judges or officers, um, it's gotten a lot harder to be in public service and public life. There are not the vast majority of the people, but there's certainly a segment of the population that is willing to attack people who are wearing a badge or a black robe or, you know, going to vote or what have you. And I wonder what your message is to people who are thinking about going into law enforcement and about the importance of doing it and whatever the risks may be.
You know, we in fact, just what you described is the heightened threat environment that we live in nowadays. And unfortunately, that threat environment has been heightened for a while now. And when I talk to my cops that are fairly new, that actually came on the department after January 6th, and I talk to them about, so why did you become a police officer? Why did you join the Capitol Police? Most of them refer back to what occurred on January 6, 2021. And they said, I saw that, and this was what motivated me to come to be a part of this department. And so I think that there's, you know, I'm very grateful, and I think we're blessed in this country to have people who have that spirit for public service, whether it is to, you know, to become an elected official and serve the public that way, to become a social worker, you know, to serve, you know, one client at a time or whatever. But, you know, folks still, there are still folks that want to become police officers. even in knowing that it can be a tough job, can be very physically, emotionally demanding, but they want to do this because they want to help people. They want to serve their country. And so I just am so blessed that we are still able to get folks in here that are just terrific people. And I couldn't be more proud of the culture that we have here in the Capitol Police.
Well, look, your career of service has been a great inspiration. I know to lots of cops out there. It's an inspiration to lots of people who are not in the police force, but who depend on the police in different ways. And I think you were headed for a real retirement last time around when you left Montgomery County, but you got called back into service. You can't keep a good cop down, and you are indestructible, and you're a great inspiration to us, Chief Manger. Thanks for being our local hero for the week within which we observe National Law Enforcement Appreciation.